Welcome to Slayerfest 98. I am Michael Hamm.
I'm Ashley Hullett.
And I'm Ian Carlos Crawford, and today we're here to talk episode 7 of Slayer's A Buffyverse Story. Hammy, I could feel you almost cracking doing the intro.
My heart is racing. I genuinely feel like I just ran a mile. I was like, you're not going to say any of the right. You were like, I'll give you a little countdown, 3, 2. And I was like, did they say hello? Does he say hey? Does he say anything? Is it just welcome to? It's 89, 98? Which, if you ever do that to me again, I'm leaving this show.
Listen, you did great.
You did great. You did great. Ashley, I love how often it does trip people up, right?
Yeah. I was thinking, when I was saying my name, I was like, wow, okay, that was really good and smooth.
I feel like I'd be better. Like, sometimes I just get, like, I practice it just in case, but I always do it in, like, Zach's voice. So I think if I would have just done it in Zach's voice, it would have been okay.
I heard you put on your top voice to say welcome to Slayerfest.
Welcome to Slayerfest 98.
That's a pretty good...
That was good.
I'm Zachary Patton Oswald Garcia.
Jesus Christ. Zach, I'm sorry. I love you.
I'm also sorry. This is my equivalent of when Zach does his British accent.
So... before we get into the episode, I just wanted to promo our Patreon. Over there, you can get access to our private Facebook group, our Discord channel, and our live watches. We do watch-alongs of Buffy episodes. Sometimes we might branch out and do other things. And we have monthly Zoom calls. And if you are a top-tier subscriber, you can be someone who gives an outro of favorite episode, favorite outfit, favorite scene, and grade to any episode that month that you would like. And any and all support is much appreciated. We have covered Firefly, Harley Quinn. We are now covering Batman the Animated Series and soon to be X-Men the Animated Series. And yeah.
I'm on the Patreon and it is well worth the money, people. Yes. I'm a secret lurker. It is worth it.
Wait, are you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I like to know what you're doing at all times.
I appreciate
a creepy partner who signs up for your Patreon because I want to know that you're telling me the truth about what you're doing.
No, we'll say it's because you just like want to keep tabs. I like the keeping tabs part.
I'm just keeping tabs on you. Yeah, that's all.
What did we think of this episode? Like overall, Ashley?
I like this one a lot.
Yes.
I feel like it makes the last episode, the struggle that we went through to get through it, worth it, because we get a lot of action in this one. Yeah. We get some really fun stuff. I'm ready to talk about this one.
Hammy?
Yeah, I am very thankful to be back for this episode because I feel like maybe I didn't have the best time with the last one, and I don't want people to think that like I'm not having a good time with this show. So this one was really, I'm happy and excited to talk about one. That is this one. That is a good one.
No, I agree. I thought this like very much. And maybe it's just because the other one was slower, but this one definitely for me like picked up. So we get Spike doing his like usual like kind of recap narration. And I was like, I wrote in my notes, wait, did that Spike come back? Is that what happened? Like, that's what I was thinking about in the previous episode. Like, did he somehow merge? Did they actually do a spell? Hammy, you even said you were a little confused with that. Like, did they actually do a spell or did they not? And then I put, wait, is this narration all just to trick Drew? And then it is, right? That's why he's saying all this, which I appreciated that we were kind of like recapping the Spike in that universe, not in like, quote unquote, our universe.
Right.
And then we get, Drusilla. Drusilla, what is it she says about Tara, Ashley?
The lady doth curl my toes.
Yeah.
You knew I had it written down.
I knew you did.
I love how horny Drew is in this series.
It like, even though she wasn't as horny in the show, it just makes sense for her, right?
I feel like she was definitely this horny in the show. We just weren't shown it.
Yeah, that's more accurate.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
In episode 5, when Jonathan shows up, he says, and maybe it was metaphorical, he says that Spike had his heart ripped out by Cordelia, and then he keeps saying, like, he had his head cut off, and I thought, like, that was going to be a thing, like a tell or a giveaway to Drusilla that like this isn't the real Spike. But did anyone else clock that? It could have been metaphorical when he said he was telling like how Cordelia killed him, and
I do remember him saying that and being confused.
Okay.
But it has to be metaphorical because he's the only one that ever veers from that explanation.
Okay. I thought I was going crazy.
No, I do remember that.
Okay. This is my one opportunity to ask you guys questions. I'm not gonna not take it.
No, I love it.
First of all, our DMs are always open for questions.
That's true.
And please, I text you like the needy like partner you didn't want, Hammy. So you can always text me.
You can message me on the Patreon at www.patreon.com/Slayerfest.
So one of the minions, I do like that we do this because this is a trope, right? Where people are like talk about someone who's in the room, but like the person doesn't hear it. I like that the minion is like telling Drew, like, maybe you can't believe it's her Spike, your Spike. And then Spike is like, I can hear you.
Yeah. Before that happens, though, going back to Drew for just 1 second, she also kind of hints to him about maybe a throuple situation. And he says he's never been one for sharing. And I put in all caps, unless it's Angel, in which case he will definitely share.
Right. Right. I was like, bullshit. Like, give me a break.
Yeah, that does not track.
Yes. And so this minion, then Spike stakes him, and Indira gets like upset as if like Spike killed like.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Right?
I don't think she was expecting him to kill anyone good or bad. And she like fully broke character here, and it made me super nervous. I was like, this is going to be what gives it up like immediately, because she's like gonna be shocked that he is doing what he's supposed to do and acting like that Spike. Like that Spike would absolutely kill someone who was like, not double crossing, but betraying in a way. So I was just like, you need to get your shit together and learn to go with the flow.
Yeah, I think she's in her head about it because she's already thinking that potentially he's changing sides. Like now that he's seen Drew, he's genuinely in love with her and wants to possibly actually do the vampire spell to make them immortal. And I think watching him kill someone, she's like, oh shit, maybe he is just evil.
Right.
And not a vampire with a soul.
But I guess like my thing is like, but she's like a huge fangirl. So like,
this was also a little sus because in episode 6, she also mentioned that she never really thought about how vampires have to stay in during the day. When Spike was like, yeah, just lay in my crypt during the day. And she was like, oh yeah, never really thought about what vampires do in the day. And I was like, you would have had so many talks about what you think vampires do in the day on Reddit. That is ridiculous.
True.
That is true. So then he does kind of like get into it, right? And Drew, like he gets into it with Indira and she's like, are you kidding me? And he's like, do I look like I'm kidding? And he puts on his top voice and he starts like yelling back. He does his angry Spike voice.
Oh, Ian, my notes say angry Spike voice is very sexy. Growl.
Oh, look at that.
I love us.
Growl.
Growl.
I love when we're aligned. And then Drew, in her very Drew way, tells Spike the like daylight plan. And then they say Indira is tasty. And I was like, isn't this a kid? And then I realized they meant to eat. And then I'm like, well, that's not like that's appropriate, but like, it's more appropriate for them to be like, we're going to, right.
Yeah.
Like our brains have been so conditioned with this shit. I'm like, oh, no, they're just talking about killing her. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's not inappropriate. But I do like that she's just like, she reminds them that her blood stays in her body. I like that she calls them on their horny reference when she's like, there's a kid here every time they're making their like sex puns.
Yeah, she says, I may be a witch queen, but I'm still a kid.
Yeah. Then we cut to Tara and Cordelia. And this is one of those weird things that we keep doing in the series where like, it feels like we're making progress, but then there's like this part we didn't need at all, really. I don't know, because it's like, well, Tara's just still there, so why did we even lock her up? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, it could have been like Drew's just like, all right, see ya, and leaves her, and Tara is pissed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So this felt a little like filling time. Kurgan comes out and Cordy recognizes who it is. And Tara says, I have a heart, lungs, liver, and a Kurgan. And I do like Cordy when she's like, okay, it's like a little tumor that has to be cut out. She's just kind of like simplifying because Tara's still doing a lot of exposition, but Cordy keeps like simplifying it, which I do like.
Yeah, it's helpful for us.
Yes. Tara asks Cordy how Cordy plans on taking Drusilla out, or how plans on taking Tara out, and she's like, over my shoulder, and throws her. And then what is it? She goes. What happens?
First, Tara talks a bunch of shit, right? And she's like, it was never easy to be your friend or your sister. And then she like starts naming off like the ways that people have died. And she's like, little sister turned to dust. And I was like, Cordelia's going to fucking fuck her up if she keeps bringing up her sister. But she held it together.
Yeah. True.
And then good Tara keeps popping out and being like, kill me. You have to kill me.
Yeah.
Please don't listen to anything she says. Just kill me.
Yeah. And then when she gets her on her shoulder, she says, you have no magic left in you. And that's when Tara does that spell that like puts her on a loop.
Yeah. Right.
Which made me think of Life cereal.
I kept thinking of like, because it sounded like she was glitching, I kept thinking of like a hologram is what I kept seeing. Even though I know that's not what this is. We cut back to Spike and Drusilla and Indira, and they've come back from the cemetery. Drew introduces, I like the way she kind of takes to Indira when she like introduces Indira to minions and is like, make her cookies.
That's so nice.
Everyone loves cookies.
True magic lies in cookies.
Like, fucking sure. I like that Indira's like, and chocolate chip, thanks.
Yeah. Chocolate chip, please. She also calls Spike Mummy's favorite puppy. I love it. So Drusilla.
That does track for Drusilla. And then, like, what? Okay. I think twice in this episode, it's like they hear a man yelling from somewhere else.
What is happening?
Okay, you did notice that, Hammy?
Yes, there's just like a guy going, oh,
yeah,
oh, for like the last episode and this one.
So, I mean, Ashley has already listened to the whole series, so you're not allowed to speak on this.
I'm not going to say a word.
But I feel like, Hammy, right? It's got to like circle to that. Like that's like, but I was trying to think of what it could be, right?
I have no idea. I honestly do not have a guess, but it absolutely has to. They've made it so like obvious without any other person in the show like acknowledging it. So it is just for us, right?
Yeah.
No one else is like, what's that sound? And they do that for they'll be like, what's that footprint on the ground over there that I'm looking at with my human eyes? So the fact that no one has like mentioned it, I'm like, it's got to be something.
I was trying to like in my brain, because I'm like, I know the end. I've been told the end ends pretty like big. I've had only one person say they didn't like the end, but
it's Xander, isn't it?
Xander turned into like a monster.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe it's the Giles of that universe. That's like my only guess.
Oh.
But I mean, but it's like yelling like it's like Frankenstein's monster or some shit. But whatever. So they stumble on Tara. Drew kills Alphania.
Even though Tara's like begging her not to.
Yes. Indira says she's there to replace Tara as the new witch queen. Drew tells her that's rude. And I do like when she says, you can see him, right? About Spike to Tara.
Yeah. Like, it's not just me, right?
Yeah. And so this is when like Drew has them put Tara in shackles. Indira is like, what does she say? I rewound it 3 times and I couldn't. She says, what is it with you people? You're hornier than...
I have no... Ian, I rewound that so many times. I have no idea.
Ashley, as a designated youth here, Ashley, it is your job to tell us what she says.
I would have to go back and listen to it. I didn't. I was too busy making notes about Tara talking about getting head scrambles in season 5. And
all right. So anyone who listened to that, let me know if you, because I like, right, Hammy? I have no idea. It sounds like she says Grace or something.
I thought I heard Gray or like full audio all the way up. Could not understand what it was.
Was it Dorian Gray?
Is it 50 Shades of Grey?
Oh, maybe. That could be it.
No, maybe it is Dorian. Actually, I just put Grace, maybe. And I was like, who the fuck is Grace? All right, yeah. But I do like her calling them on like being so horny.
Yeah.
Drew then takes Spike upstairs to have sex with him. And I like that they literally just are like, okay, bye. And they go to have sex. And then Cordy kind of like, Drusilla says that like, just give her time and she'll like reset, right? About like Cordy.
She's like, doesn't she tell? I think Drew's like, be careful with her because if you push her around too much, she'll come out of the spell. And then Spike intentionally pushes her over and then acts like, whoops, didn't mean to do that.
Yeah. And she's like, be careful. And then he said, well, as long as she's in her cell. And then he throws her in the cell to wake her up.
Okay, right.
Wait, question for you two, again. To people who know what they're talking about. Is there a reason Spike can't touch the grimoire? Because Drew was like,
vampires can't.
Can't? Okay. Thank you.
It'll like burn them up if they touch it.
I hadn't even realized that. I just thought she didn't want him to touch it because she was being touchy about like, that's the important book.
My big special book.
Yeah.
No, it was mentioned in a past episode, just like in passing, that they can't touch it.
Right.
Okay.
That's why they need like the witches to help, because they can't just do it themselves because they can't interact with the grimoire.
Oh my God. Is this a good show? am I the dumb one? I'm realizing that this is a good show and I'm the dumb one.
I like that Indira kind of like picks up. What does she say to Cordy? It's something like she thinks Drew's only pretending.
She says she thinks that she's not actually insane at all. She thinks she's a brutal sadist with infantile obsessions who wears insanity like a Halloween mask.
Yes. And I thought that was a really good line too.
Yeah, super good. And Cordelia's like, how old are you? And she's like, I like psychology, okay?
Yeah. Which I really like. And then Indira starts talking about that Gem of Amara bit, which I was so glad that we went back to, like, because I kept thinking, like, but if that was the plan, why is she so caught off guard? And she says it was not the plan. And Spike just, like, brought it up. So I was really happy we did, like, make a reason for her seeming to be, like, caught off guard with that. And then she also, I like when she starts talking about Spike and Drusilla, and then she's like, well, Spike and Buffy, and Cordy goes, focus!
Yeah. She's like, I am focused.
Yeah. I am curious what either of you thought of, I kind of felt like, let's not do this. I don't want to be hung up on, and I'm glad they do pretty quickly wrap this up, of like, is Spike evil again? Because like, no, he's not. Come on, I know he's not. I could see it being that he wants Drusilla not dead, but I don't think that means he's like evil. Hammy, what'd you think?
I'm still kind of torn, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's me just like waiting for a twist or not, but I'm like, okay, he did the ring thing. Okay, that's kind of sketchy. He doesn't want to kill Drew. That's kind of sketchy, but you're right. Like, I don't think he'd want to do that anyway. But then he pushed Cordelia to wake her up, and I'm like, well, that's not sketchy. That's helpful.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm still on the fence. I think there could be a good little plot twist coming up.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, I think that there's enough back and forth with him that it leaves us in a spot where it's hard to know which way it's going to go, you know?
It would feel very hindsight for me if I was like, no, he's good, and then he was bad at the end. I'd be like, I knew it. I was just saying he'd be good. And then the opposite would be true, too.
For me, I'm just like, no, we already did this. We did this in season 7. We did this in season,
true.
You know, like, it's just like, we did it in season 7, and then we had season 5 of Angel, and like, he is good. He's like a hero. Now I sound like someone who would leave a nasty comment on my podcast, but like for me, I'm just like, no, Spike's a hero. He's a good guy. There's no like turning evil. Like, I just think it's that maybe he doesn't want Drusilla to die, which like fair, right? It's like he has a soul and she was like the love of his life for so long. And like, even though of course I do think he loved Buffy more. It's like, you know, maybe it's like your ex that like, you know, she kind of broke up with him because she knew he didn't love her anymore. It wasn't like she broke up with him because she hated him or anything. It was like, no, you love Buffy, I can tell, so why are we together? So I could see it just being like, I can't kill her. The same way Willow couldn't let Buffy kill Vampire Willow in Doppelgangland. And it wasn't, you know, there was nothing else other than like, oh, don't do it. And then they sent her back to her world and it happened anyway. But That's what I kept thinking of this as. Anyway,
I just don't know like what his end game would be outside of killing her, because he only came here in the first place because he was like, oh, she's gonna be really dangerous if she's
that's
found
true.
all this agency.
That's true.
So I don't know what the end game would have been.
I'm side-eyeing you, Ashley, because I know you did finish. I'm like, let me try to decode what she's saying.
I'm just trying not to think about it.
In true Hammy fashion.
Well, honestly, like, I came into this on episode 6, and, like, I thought I'd ended episode 6. I'd be like, well, I'm not really gonna listen to the rest. And this episode, like, brought me back. You guys a little bit too, I guess. But, like, this episode brought me back in, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I do really want to know what's going on with this story.
I do think this one, like, amps it up a lot.
Yeah.
So when we cut to Spike and Drew, they are about to have sex.
Again, all I see is like them sitting across from each other at a table making out with their hands.
Yes.
I can't help it. I just laugh through all the make out scenes.
Because there was that one clip in like one of the videos of her like on her arm, like almost like gnawing on her arm, Juliet Landau. And I'm like, I wonder if that was her like kissing her arm. You know?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I do like all the back and forth here because I do think Spike, while again, I don't think he's in love with her. He cares about her still. Like there's still a little bit that cares, which I like get.
Yeah, there has to be some form of like some amount of comfort he gets from being with her again.
Right. Yes. So then, we have a call back to the eyeballs and entrails.
Love it.
She says, I could hurt you in a good way right now, which I think is also a callback, I think.
And she says, you're my favorite freak show, which I just thought was cute.
Yeah.
I was like, this is so
cute. He's like, oh, we have to relearn what each other are like all over again. And she says she hasn't forgotten what he liked. And I really, with the way the series had been, I was waiting for there to be like a sound of her flipping him over and like putting on a strap on. Like,
oh my God.
But right, I could see it, right?
Yeah. I have a question about this.
Yes.
Do we think that he's like, the reason that he brings this up, do you think he's trying to like slow it down so that they don't have sex because he doesn't really want to because it's not his Drew? Or do we think he's like, what if I don't fuck the way that I fuck in this world and she knows because we're having sex and I'm not having sex the way that I do in this world?
Oh.
So I better tell her I don't remember stuff. That way, if I do things weird, she's like, it's okay.
Hammy, what do you think? Because I just assumed it was like putting it off because he didn't want to. It's just not his Drew. But I actually think
he just folds so quickly that I was like, oh.
I originally thought it was the second one. I thought like he was putting it off because he was like, so I'm going to say the wrong thing. I'm going to do the wrong thing. And she's going to catch me. But I kind of like the way Ashley's thinking about option 1 there. Because like, if it's Spike, if it's our good boy Spike, I can see him being like, well, it's almost non-consensual in a way to lie to someone about who you are and then have sex with them. So,
I mean, the alternate universe of it all kind of makes it a little different, I guess. A
little bit. But I can see the problems in that. I mean, hell, it could just be both.
That's also true. All right, and then we cut back to Giles and Clem. We learn that the windows of the magic box had blown out, but other than that, like they made at the end of the episode, it definitely felt like the whole street had blown up or something. But
a crater in a crater.
Yeah.
But the bell on that door still works.
Giles pulls a shard of glass out of Clem's face. And a thing. So, I mean, Zach was like, Ian, Buffy got fingered in an alley in season 6. And it's true, but like, I feel like they're allowed to be a little bit more gruesome than they were in the show. Like, she cuts Caleb in half, but that's like fully all off screen. No blood gets on her, and like we hear the sound effects. But I like that because this is an audio drama. Like, I don't know that the show would have done a shard of glass sticking in someone's face and like getting pulled out. Maybe with Clem they could have done it, but I don't know. I feel like this is allowed to be a little bit more violent. And I like that.
Yeah, no, I can't like watch stuff like that. Like a nail through the foot or glass through, I can't. So I'm very thankful that they can do it in an audio medium, and I would not have wanted to see that.
Also, maybe it feels more gory and more
true
intense because they have to be so descriptive in order for you to picture it.
That's true. That could be that. Because there is that moment in I don't remember the episode. Whatever Angel episode where like Cordy goes with Gunn and they go to that party and there's an attack and that girl does get like a piece of glass, but like she's covering it with her hand most of the time. Anyway, so they go to the magic box. Clem smells dog before Jasper starts yapping. Anya kind of like calls from the back room and is like, don't look, brace yourself. Maybe don't look at all. And when they see it, Giles says, dear God. Clem says, what the heck are we looking at? Giles says, Anya, something about like, I echo Clem's question. What's happened to you? And so Clem said in the previous episode that they might merge like the Fly. And now they have merged like the Fly. I will say I could not picture this. Like my brain could not picture what this looked like. Could either of you?
No, it's like a mystery blob to me.
Just wait till we discuss our favorite outfits.
Great.
This is where my Anyanka questions come in. Last episode, we talked a little bit about the Anyanka. Like, does she want to share a body? Does she not? Like, because she's been very adamant in the beginning of this series that she like does not want to share a body with Anya.
Okay.
It seems like she wanted to kill her. And now she's like, no, we should share a body. The dog is a problem, but you and I should be together. And I'm like just confused about her intentions.
So what do you think, Hammy?
I also don't know. My notes say, didn't Anyanka say she didn't want this and now she wants this? So I'm also very confused. I think last episode I said that I think she was just putting on like a tough outer shell and she's always kind of wanted it. And now that they're already merged, maybe like this is her way to be like, well, you know what? This isn't so bad. Maybe this will be good. I'd rather, because I think she said something like, I'd rather, I don't know, vomit eyeballs than admit this, but like, this isn't so bad, is it?
Yeah, and I guess she does say, like, she's learned that she can't appreciate human pain without human feelings. So maybe being forced back into that body made her realize, like, oh, this is what I needed. But I hadn't thought of that until just now when you brought that up.
I also didn't realize I didn't assume they were also merged with the dog until Anyanka explicitly says they are merged with the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that threw me off even more. I was like, what the fuck does this fucking thing look like? Giles says they need to separate everything. And like,
he says there's too many arms, which also makes it hard to picture. Like, yes. That made me not be able to picture it even more.
I think I was more picturing like, have either of you ever seen Weird Science?
Yes.
You know, the thing they turn, is it Bill Paxton into? I forget that actor. The actor who's like the douchey older army brother.
That's Bill Paxton, yeah.
Yes. The like creature they turn him into that's just like a blob with tiny baby arms.
Oh, God.
That's like kind of what I was picturing, but like it's like prettier because it's Anya.
Gruesome. Okay.
I was like, I think I was picturing that with like a blonde wig.
Oh, I looked it up.
Ian, no.
Similar to like the mystery blob I was picturing.
Okay,
you're gonna hate that I put it in a leather jacket.
No, I'm gonna love that you put it in a leather jacket. Then they talk about separating, and this is where it is like you said, Ashley. It's like I do have kind of questions. Like Anyanka has been following them, and like they've fought with her, but she hasn't seemed like. It feels like she could have murdered them all pretty easily if she wanted to, right?
Yeah. But she hasn't made any moves. She's just talked a lot of shit.
Like Giles answers the phone while she's attacking earlier. Like,
yeah.
Well, it feels very like Buffy TV show Anyanka, where she's like real tough and it's like, I could murder you. I could but like, she really doesn't. She doesn't wanna. She's just. Yeah, I get the same energy of like this woman could fucking crush you, but she's kind of grown close to them. Like her and Clem in this scene are the best. When Clem calls her a babe or calls her babe, and like she keeps calling him Clement. I was like, yes. I am a stan. This is it. These are my two.
I do have that note that Anyanka always uses the formal Clement, and I love that.
Yes. She says something, and she's like, I agree with Clement. And I'm like, oh, I love this. Okay.
Yeah.
He says, oh, thanks, babe.
But then we get like Giles decides it's like he needs to go back to the main. Yeah, this is a little bit like, all right, come on. He needs to go back to the main universe to get his version of Kurgan's volume and bring it back to this alternate reality, right? That's where we land on this.
Yes.
Yeah.
We cut to Tara.
Yes, waking up.
And okay, this is like what I mean. Last episode, I kind of said this too. Like, I'm like, I think I said this earlier. It's like, then Cordy goes to see her and it's like, but we just did this scene and like, it didn't work. But now it's like, I don't know that this is where I'm a little bit like, I don't know. Like we just had this feels like it should have been condensed. Like this all could have happened in the earlier scenes. Tara wants to team up, which I don't know. Honestly, I was like, yeah, you probably should. Like, she's a powerful witch. Yeah, go ahead.
No, but she's absolutely not going to keep her end of that deal.
I mean, yes, you're correct. But I would have done the stupid thing and been like, yeah, sure. You have magical powers. I don't. And then this line is like a little ridiculous when Cordelia's like, you know, that's what being a friend means, even if it means keeping you locked up in a dungeon. And I'm like, wow.
Wow, what a great friend.
Yeah, in this specific scenario, and probably this specific scenario only, yes.
Yeah. I mean, depends on what's going on in the dungeon.
Right.
That's true.
Tara yells that Drusilla will kill her. Cordy says she won't let that happen and leaves. And Tara calls out to Mr. Pickles. Then we cut to Drew, Spike, and Indira. I'm like, there's a lot of plot, and I'm tired.
It is. It's in the like scene right before this is so draining. But it's okay because we're back
right
to the OG. Yeah, we got this. Drew wants to get the spell done.
Yay!
Hi, it's me, Michael Hamm, and I know what I'm talking about. Drew wants to get the spell done, and I mean, there's more sex jokes that Indira doesn't like, which that bit is getting a bit old at this point.
Fair,
but that's fine because I really like her. So, like other people I let them get away with bullshit.
Not insert me.
Yeah, I didn't say it. You did. And Indira just like deadass starts doing the spell, and like. I don't know if this note means she's worried that she thinks it's really going to work, or I'm worried that it's really going to work, but it just says worried it will really work.
First, Spike and Indira kind of get into a little bit of an argument back and forth, and Drew is like, "This is boring. Can we please do the spell?"
Yes, I do like that Drew explicitly says that.
Yeah, she's like, "This is boring. Let's move along." So then they tell Indira about like this was Spike in my dream before he died, and Spike was like, we've been working on this forever, and then he like kind of is like low-key talking to her in code. He's like, trust me that I'm doing what is best for everyone, and do the spell.
Yeah.
And so she was like, okay, fine. And then when she's doing the spell, she's like, all right, is everybody ready? Because this might work. And then she like looks at Spike and says, this might actually work.
Yeah.
And that's when Drew is like, what do you mean it might work? You said it would definitely work.
There's also something like Drew says she like feels hot. And is that supposed to be Drew just like being wacky?
My note on this says, this made me think of the Becoming episode that y'all did where somebody was like, she can't pass out from lack of oxygen because she doesn't breathe. And then I think it might have been Adam Sess that was like, she strikes me as someone who could be easily tricked into believing things about her own self. And she just kind of goes with it. And so when Spike was like, yeah, I feel it working, she was like, yeah, I feel it working too. And it's just kind of like all in her head.
It's like when like kids have like bad weed that's not weed and they're like, oh, I feel it. Yeah, I feel it too.
Yeah, exactly.
And so then she says something about like they can have a family. I just like that she says us and my dollies. I like the way she says dollies. I don't know why. It's very pleasing to me. I'm like, yeah, say dollies 3 more times.
Yeah. She's like, you and me and all my dollies, but she leaves Tara completely out. I was like, she's let go of the throuple at this point.
She hasn't fully forgotten about Tara at this point.
Yeah. Because she even says, like, and then we'll find some children of our own, maybe some orphans, and our family will grow and grow. And I'm like, what about the lady that doth make your toes curl?
You just said that. And I almost feel like she's taking to Indira. Like, she would be okay if Indira was like their like sidekick child, right?
100%. That is the energy I get from it.
Yeah. And then while like Drusilla is freaking out, Cordelia bursts through.
When they hear the fighting outside, though, she's like, not now. What about the
orphans? Me making scenarios up in my head. So then Cordelia bursts in and her and Drusilla fight. And I was glad we got some actions. I did feel like we needed it. I did get a little confused as to who was fighting. I'm like, is Spike just standing there? Right? Like, I wasn't sure.
Yeah. It's a little weird.
It was pretty confusing. When Spike got stabbed in the back with a stake, I was like, oh, okay, when did that happen? Like, there was no like, ouch, or like, it was a very confusing fight for me.
So Cordelia, she like, threatens Spike. She says, I killed you once, I can do it again. I do like that Cordy quietly apologizes to Indira and she like knocks her out, right? Isn't that what she does?
Yeah. And she picks her up and she repeats the line that Spike said when he picked Indira up. And she's like, God, you're all muscle, kid.
Yeah. And she takes, I need you both to know because it's me. My autocorrect says, then Cordy takes the grimoire and indica.
It was a great night.
Falls asleep reading her grimoire.
Oh my God.
Drew mentions Spike didn't put up much of a fight.
Mm-hmm.
And he like does have them pull the stake out of his back. And he says no matter what happens, he won't see any harm come to her, which does again lead me to believe he just doesn't want Drusilla dead. Like,
yeah.
I think it's because Spike is a softie, right? The Spike we know, even when a vampire, he was a softie. So I really think it's like, he's just like, I just don't want her to die. Come on. Like maybe he would like put her in like a vampire jail cell, whatever that would look like. Or, give her the gem of Amara, but like maybe she gets a chip or something. I don't know.
Take her to the initiative.
Yeah. It's like, remember what you did to me? Can you do that here? So then Mr. Pickles and Tara enter. Tara says without her notes, the sunlight spell won't work. And even if Indira pulled it off, they'll still need the grimoire because Anya can reverse the spell if it works.
Any spell that was cast from it. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, this was just more grimoire stuff that I was like, I don't care about this book at all. Like, literally, it's the most important thing. And I'm like, it's just a spell book. And you could be like, they've got the spell book and it has the spells in it. We're in trouble.
Yeah. And that's fine. And I mean, and that's what Buffy always did. And it was always like, sure, right? Like,
it seems weird that there's no other books. Like, there's not, like, why does Giles have to go all the way to another reality to get the same book? Like, there's not another book with information on it.
Yeah, I'm not like a multiverse fan. So that the whole like going to different realities part has been tough on me. Because it kind of just lowers the stakes on anything. Because like, they lost the book. Well, we can just go get another one. Okay, shit, never mind. Cool.
And especially with like, okay, well, we can universe like reality jump. Then like, I don't know. All right, if this fails, we'll just go to another universe and do it again, right? Like, yeah. It is weird that like the multiverse thing has become such a big plot device. And not even just because of Multiverse of Madness. Like, there was Into the Spider-Verse first. And I mean, Into the Spider-Verse does it really well, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But it's weird that has now become so popular because that's not really like a new thing in genre, right? Like Star Trek had the Mirrorverse. In Buffy, we had the, Doppelgangland where Vamp Willow came from the Wish universe. And like, it's not a new thing, but it has become like a very popular like plot device, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, for this, it's necessary to bring the old cast back, right? It's the easiest way to do that, and I'm very thankful for that.
Yes.
But.
Yeah, because, I love hearing them all back. Okay, well, now that we're at the end, what was your favorite scene, Hammy?
Yeah, I maybe Giles and Clem and Anyanka and Puppy Anyanka and the whole fly situation. I feel like with this episode, I liked a lot of the scenes. There was just a couple that like were bogged down.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I really didn't have a standout for this episode like I did for the last one, but yeah, I think they're all pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ashley?
Anytime that Drew is being horny as fuck.
Well, that's 8 of the scenes from this episode.
Mine is also, even though I couldn't do a good job picturing what it looked like, the Clem and Giles, the magic box scene, like the Anya beast thing. All right, what is an outfit we pictured a character wearing in this episode, Hammy, who told us he had a good one for this one?
All right, so the fly Anya monster is who I picked for this episode. And I pictured it in like, she's good. Anya was wearing like kind of what Emma would normally wear, like on a red carpety kind of thing. Probably like some high-waisted pants of some sort, like maybe like a beige pant with like a little tank top with like 1 inch of midriff between because the pants are so high. But it's like a high fashion tank top, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
And then kind of like a little boho, but not boho, but like a cardigan that's kind of like witchy and long into the ground-ish.
Okay.
But there is an arm coming out of that 1 inch of space. Just like an extra hand that's a bit demon-y. I think she's got a dog like coming out of her neck, like a dog head coming out of her neck. She has a 3rd leg, but you can't see it. She hasn't shown it off. And then I think Anyanka is like the cardigan has been slouched off, and Anyanka's face is like in her shoulder.
Did you draw this? I feel like you thought this out. And how did you keep track of what you were thinking for this monster?
I thought about it a lot.
Okay. All right.
I thought about it a lot. I really wanted to come up with a nice, fashionable Cronenberg monster,
Ashley?
So I chose Mr. Pickles.
I'm really excited to hear what you picked.
Okay, so I was picturing like the like dance monkey that has like the symbols.
Symbols, yeah. That's what I've been picturing.
But like
too.
make it goth. So he has on like the button-up vest is black, and the pants are like a dark gray and black pinstripe. And
I love that.
Instead of the hat being red, it's also black, but it's glittery because even evil loves glitter.
Ooh. This is good. I like this.
Obviously, instead of cymbals, he plays the piano, so he doesn't have.
He has a little Casio.
Yeah.
I want you all to know that, like, in my like drawers of like things that I have for like the figures, I was like, how do I not have a monkey? Because I really wanted to put a monkey with Tara, but unfortunately, I did not have a monkey.
Damn.
There you go, Ashley. There's your clip to cut. Unfortunately, I did not have a monkey. So I picture Indira doing a costume change for her witch persona, where it's like a mixture of what I pictured her wearing, but like she's got a flowy skirt on. Like I imagine, I picture it like, this'll do. Like a dark purple, black, like shimmery, maybe sequined, like flowy skirt that's kind of like blustering around when she walks. But she's still got like her leather jacket on.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. All right. What grade do we give this episode, Ashley?
I give this one an A.
Okay.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Hammy?
I'm going to go B because I'm hoping that there will be an A in the last 2 episodes. I also feel like this episode had the worst like kind of ending. Like there was no real like cliffhangery energy to it. And I'm waiting for my A. So I'm going to go B.
I also go B, Hammy. Thank you both for doing this. Thank you all for listening. If you like Slayerfest 98, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. I just added us. Actually, I forgot to tell you this. I just added us to like 2 other platforms that Podbean just gave me the option of click here to add. The rest of them were like, fill out this form. And I was like, I'm not filling out anything, but click here to add. Great, I'll do that. Nice. I got emails saying they were added. Of course, I don't remember what platforms those were. I think one of them was like Google Podcasts, which we were on, but now it's like something else. But whatever the Google thing is, we're on that. I sound like a fucking...
we're on the Google.
I mean, whatever the Google podcasting platform is. That's what I meant for the Google thing. Oh, Jesus. I just taught a lesson too today about media literacy, and I was like, some people use those terms incorrectly, and now I'm like using the terms incorrectly.
Like old people use these terms wrong. Uh-oh.
Listen, I will not lie. I spoke to a man on Grindr when I was in Florida, and I said to him, I'm so surprised there's like a lot of gay people showing up, because normally I come down here, it's all old people. And then I realized I was talking to a 29-year-old and I am 40. And I was like, says the 40-year-old to the 29-year-old. He was
like,
very...
Yeah, sure are a lot of old people on here.
He's like, yeah, queer you. But no, he was very nice. And he was like, sweetheart, you are not like these old people, because it is like, 70 plus, but whatever.
Oh my God.
Where was I? Oh, yes. If you want to follow Slayerfest 98 on all social media platforms, we are at Slayerfest X98. If you want to follow me, I'm at Ian X Carlos. Ashley, where can everyone find you and your podcast?
You can find me on Instagram at Cause I'm Feeling Fine, or on Twitter at Mythtaken314. And I host a podcast about Heartstopper and the overall Osemanverse called Why Are We Like This? You can find us on all social media platforms at Why Are We Cast, and you can listen to us anywhere you get podcasts and on YouTube.
And Hammy, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Hammy73 or michael.ham.cosplay for all of my cosplay work. And yeah, I also have a Patreon, so why not plug it?
Yes.
You can sign up for my Patreon at patreon.com/michaelham.
And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.